As the wind whistled through the desolate corridors of St. Andrew's School, I couldn't help but shiver. The once vibrant hallways were now shrouded in darkness, devoid of any signs of life. It had been months since the last student left, and the school had become a haunting shell of its former self. I had heard rumors about the school closing down due to a series of disturbing incidents, but nothing could prepare me for what I was about to uncover. Curiosity drove me to explore the abandoned classrooms one by one. The air was heavy with a sense of foreboding, as if the walls themselves held the secrets of what had transpired here. The sound of my own footsteps echoed ominously, creating an eerie symphony of isolation. I entered the math classroom, its once cheery atmosphere now replaced by an unsettling silence. As I glanced at the dusty blackboard, a chill ran down my spine. The equations scrawled on the board seemed to have a sinister aura, as if they were equations of doom. Suddenly I felt a presence behind me and quickly turned, but there was nothing there. The sensation of being watched grew stronger with each passing moment. I decided to delve deeper into the mysteries of St. Andrew's School, unaware of the horrors that awaited me. The library was my next destination, a place that used to be filled with knowledge and adventure. As I stepped into the dimly lit room, I felt an invisible force pushing me forward. The books lining the shelves seemed to whisper, their eerie words forming a chilling symphony in my mind. I picked up a book at random, its pages yellowed and brittle. It was a journal belonging to one of the former teachers, Mr. Jenkins. His entries chronicled a gradual descent into madness, as he described strange occurrences happening within the school. He wrote about phantom footsteps echoing through the hallways, mysterious whispers, and even sightings of ghostly apparitions. One entry stood out, written just days before the school's closure. Mr. Jenkins wrote about a group of students who had gone missing, seemingly swallowed by the darkness that had consumed the school. Their disappearances were blamed on a malevolent entity that had taken up residence within the building. The teachers and staff were unable to explain the events and were forced to close the school indefinitely. As I closed the journal, a gust of wind swept through the library, extinguishing the few remaining candles. Darkness enveloped me, and panic set in. The sense of being watched intensified, and the whispers grew louder, taunting and malicious. I stumbled blindly, desperate to find my way out of the labyrinthine corridors, but with each turn the walls seemed to shift, trapping me further within their malevolent grasp. Suddenly I found myself in the auditorium, a vast empty space that seemed to magnify the sense of dread. The stage loomed ahead, its red velvet curtains tattered and worn. I felt an invisible force drawing me closer, compelling me to step onto the stage. As I stood there, paralyzed with fear, the curtains slowly parted. A figure emerged from the darkness, a specter clad in tattered school uniform. Its eyes glowed with a malevolent light as it beckoned me forward. Its voice, a chilling whisper, echoed through the auditorium. "Join us," it hissed, its voice a macabre melody. "Become one with the lost souls of St. Andrews." Terror coursed through my veins as I realized the fate that awaited me. I turned and fled, my footsteps echoing through the empty hallways. The walls seemed to close in on me, as if trying to trap me within their sinister embrace. I pushed through the entrance doors, gasping for breath as I stumbled out into the sunlight. I never looked back at St. Andrew's School for fear of what I might see. The horrors that lurked within those abandoned walls would forever haunt my nightmares. The school's closure was not just an end, but a portal to a realm of darkness and despair, a place where lost souls wandered, forever seeking release. And I, a witness to its malevolence, would forever carry the burden of that terrifying truth. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting eerie shadows across the empty schoolyard, I couldn't help but feel a sense of unease. I had always been a loner, content with my books and solitary walks, but the impending closure of our school sent a shiver down my spine. Rumors had been circulating about the building's dark past, and as the final day drew near, the whispers grew louder. The school had stood for decades, its towering facade looming over the small town like a forgotten sentinel. It had seen countless students come and go, leaving behind a legacy of memories. But soon, those memories would be locked away forever. The school board, citing dwindling enrollment and aging infrastructure, had decided to shut its doors permanently. The atmosphere within the school seemed to reflect its impending fate. The once vibrant hallways now echoed with a hollow emptiness, the laughter and chatter of students replaced by an eerie silence. It was as if the building itself mourned its inevitable demise. Even the teachers appeared sullen, their enthusiasm replaced with a weariness that hinted at hidden secrets. One evening, as I stayed behind after the last bell, curiosity overcame my apprehension. I had to explore the depths of this forgotten place before it faded away into history. Armed with nothing but a flickering flashlight, I ventured into the school's labyrinthine corridors, my footsteps echoing eerily through the deserted halls. I followed a winding path that led me to the basement, a place rumored to hold the darkest secrets of the school's past. The air grew colder with each step, and a foreboding presence hung heavy in the stagnant darkness. My flashlight cast flickering shadows that seemed to dance with malicious intent, as if taunting my audacity. I discovered a hidden door at the end of a dimly lit hallway, its ancient wood creaking ominously as I pushed it open. What lay beyond sent a chill down my spine. It was a forgotten classroom, frozen in time. Dust-covered desks and dilapidated textbooks adorned the room, and the walls were adorned with faded, peeling posters, but it was the blackboard that caught my attention. It was covered in intricate symbols and cryptic writings, as if someone had tried to unlock the secrets of the universe. A wave of unease washed over me, and I felt as though unseen eyes were watching my every move. I desperately wanted to flee, but curiosity held me in its grip. As I moved closer to the blackboard, a sudden gust of wind rattled the windows, extinguishing my flickering flashlight. Panic gripped me as darkness enveloped the room, leaving me blind and vulnerable. But it was then that I heard it, a faint whispering, carried by the wind. The whispers grew louder, blending into a cacophony of chilling voices. They seemed to come from all directions, their words muffled and indistinct. Fear consumed me as I realized that these were not ordinary whispers. They were the echoes of tormented souls trapped within the school's decaying walls. In a desperate bid to escape, I stumbled toward the door, reaching out in the darkness. But my hand met empty air. The door had vanished, leaving me trapped within the sinister depths of the basement. The whispers grew louder, their ethereal presence suffocating. I closed my eyes, trying to drown out the haunting voices, but the darkness seemed to seep into my very soul. It whispered secrets that I was not meant to know, whispered of lost children and forgotten tragedies. Their torment was now my own. Time lost all meaning as the whispers consumed me. Days turned into nights, and my mind began to unravel, entwined with the spectral echoes. But just as I teetered on the edge of insanity, a glimmer of hope appeared, a faint light in the distance. Summoning all my strength, I stumbled toward the light, desperate to break free from the clutches of the school's sinister grip. As I emerged into the fresh night air, gasping for breath, I realized that the school had closed its doors not only to the living, but also to the restless spirits that had haunted it for decades. I stood there, the weight of the school's dark secrets pressing heavily upon me. The whispers had ceased, replaced by a profound silence. The school stood as a mere shell, forever sealing away the horrors of its past. To this day, I bear the scars of that harrowing experience. The school may have closed its doors, but its dark secrets remain etched in my mind, a constant reminder of the terrors that lurk within the forgotten halls of our world. I glanced at the clock, the minute hand inching closer to the final bell. It had been a long and exhausting day at school, and I couldn't wait to escape the confines of those familiar walls. Little did I know the events that would unfold in the coming hours would change my perception of school forever. As the bell finally rang, echoing through the empty hallways, I hastily packed my belongings and made my way towards the exit. I stepped outside into the chilly autumn air, relieved to be free from the stifling atmosphere of the classroom. However, something felt off. The usual chatter and laughter of my classmates was absent. The school grounds were eerily silent, and an unsettling sense of unease settled in my stomach. I walked towards the school gate, but it was locked, preventing my escape. Confused, I turned around and saw the school building looming behind me like a foreboding presence. The windows were dark and lifeless, devoid of any sign of activity. I reached for my phone, hoping to call for help, but there was no signal. Panic began to consume me as I realized I was trapped within the confines of my own school. Desperate for answers, I cautiously made my way back inside, the dimly lit hallways casting long shadows that seemed to twist and contort with every step I took. The silence was suffocating, broken only by the sound of my own racing heartbeat. I called out, my voice echoing through the empty corridors, but there was no response. It was as if the entire school had been swallowed by an otherworldly abyss. I ventured deeper into the school, my footsteps echoing ominously with each step. The air grew colder, sending shivers down my spine. The walls seemed to close in on me as if they were alive, watching my every move. Unease turned to terror as I stumbled upon the deserted classrooms. Papers and books lay scattered across the desks, frozen in time. It was as if the students and teachers had vanished into thin air, leaving behind only remnants of their presence. I reached the faculty room, hoping to find some clue, but it too was deserted. The principal's office was my last hope. As I pushed open the heavy wooden door, a chill ran down my spine. The room was bathed in an eerie glow, emanating from a solitary candle on the desk. I cautiously approached, drawn to its flickering flame like a moth to a fire. As I leaned closer, the flame abruptly extinguished, plunging the room into darkness. Panic surged through my veins as I fumbled for the door, desperate to escape the suffocating darkness. But the door wouldn't budge. It was as if the very walls of the school were conspiring against me, trapping me in this nightmare. In the pitch-black room, I felt a presence, a malevolent force enveloping me. Whispers echoed in my ears, sinister voices that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere all at once. The air grew heavy, making it difficult to breathe. The room itself seemed to pulsate with a dark energy, suffusing every inch of my being with fear. Suddenly, a faint light appeared in the distance. It grew brighter and brighter, casting an eerie glow that revealed the room around me. The walls were covered in strange symbols, etched into the paint like a cryptic language. I tried to decipher their meaning, but they danced and shifted before my eyes, mocking my feeble attempts to understand. A deafening roar filled the room, shaking the very foundations of the school. The symbols on the walls came alive, writhing and twisting in a macabre dance. I clutched my ears, desperate to drown out the cacophony, but it pierced through my very soul. The room began to crumble around me, as if the school itself was collapsing under the weight of its own malevolence. And then, as suddenly as it had begun, it stopped. The room fell silent, the symbols frozen in place. I found myself standing outside the principal's office, the hallway bathed in the soft glow of the setting sun. It was as if time had rewound itself, erasing the horrors I had just experienced. I stumbled out of the school, my legs weak and trembling. I turned back one last time, looking at the school building that had become a chamber of nightmares. From that day forward, I would never look at school the same way again. The innocent halls held a dark secret, one that lurked beneath the surface, waiting to ensnare unsuspecting souls. And as I walked away, the school gates closed with an ominous creak, sealing its dark secrets within its walls. The school would remain closed, a haunting reminder of the horrors that lie dormant in the places we once considered safe.